Alrighty, hey everybody. This is Verlaine Hell, your favorite nitwit with a radio show. And ELP just kicked butts. Paul Bielatowicz, everybody.
Cheers.
So I'm gonna go on the other side.
All right.
All right, and since I have the opportunity to ask you one big question.
Okay.
I figured this month is both Keith and Greg's birthday. So what does it mean to you to be able to continue the ELP legacy and step into the shoes of probably some of the most influential musicians that ever lived?
3 words, I'm not worthy.
Yay!
Or is that 4 words, technically? 3.5 words.
So how long has this been going on for you?
I've been with Carl for 15 years, and yeah, I mean, I guess from that perspective, it really has taken on a much more of a special meaning, because back then, 15 years ago, ELP could and actually did get back together in 2010. But now, obviously, you know, the job is down to me and Simon to continue with Carl, to continue to assist him to keep playing the music of ELP.
So what do you do to mentally prepare for a tour?
I spend lots of time with my cat.
How is Darwin these days?
Darwin's fabulous. He's missing Daddy. But I spend lots of time with my cat.
Do you Skype with your cat?
Yes. FaceTime. Darwin is an Apple user. No, we probably shouldn't endorse any product on here, but yes. Darwin is a technology snob.
So, is there anything special about this particular tour? Because I noticed that you changed some things up. You changed.
Well, the special thing about this tour is it is the very first time I have been singing.
Ta-da! And whose idea was that?
That was my idea.
And were you afraid to pitch it?
I basically booked myself singing lessons to figure out if I could do it, and then after that, after about week 3, I thought, you know what, I think this might work. So then I sent Carl an email saying, hey Carl, I've been taking singing lessons. Maybe I could sing a song or 2 in the set. We had a rehearsal, and then the next thing I knew, I was singing 5 songs. So yeah, went surprisingly well.
How long does this particular tour run?
It's I don't know.
We'll go to the website.
I am the. Ask me about music, ask me about gear. If you ask me about where we are right now, I have no idea.
I talked to a lot of band members, and I said, do you forget where you are? And they're like,
we're in
all
New York,
the time. Right, and we're coming to you from the space at Westbury.
Sounds familiar.
It was only a couple months, well, not even a month ago, Prague Stock. That was amazing. Can we talk a little bit about working with your other show, if you want to call it that? There you go.
Dave Bainbridge, yes, amazing keyboard player, amazing guitar player. And we did a duo show which featured lots of silent movies. And we finished off with a short set at Prague Stock, and it was a lot of fun. Great way to finish the tour.
So when you wrap up with Carl, what are your future plans? Are you going to continue to score films?
Absolutely, yes. I've got some big plans for next year in terms of the film scoring stuff, so watch this space. Well, in fact, did you say we were at the space? Watch this space, the space.
This very space. I also wanted to ask you about Patreon.
Right.
So how long have you been doing that, and do you kind of see that as the future as a revenue stream for artists in general, because we know that they're not making money from streaming, and a lot of artists don't necessarily have a huge back catalog to earn revenue from?
Patreon has changed my life. It is amazing. It has freed me up to do creative stuff when ordinarily I would have had to have been getting jobs teaching or whatever. Just for those out there who don't know what Patreon is, it's a subscription-based site where fans and supporters of music and musicians and creators in general, because it's not just musicians on there, get to interact in a very personal, behind-the-scenes way with whoever they decide to support. So on my Patreon page, I do daily updates when I'm on the road. I do weekly live streaming sessions, and I've got a fly that's oddly attracted to me.
It must be the guitar face and the hair.
Yeah, that'll be it. Not the smell at all, I'm sure. And I do monthly downloads and a whole lot of things. I send people postcards from the road, and anybody who's on my Patreon site gets free access to any sound check, any show that they come to. So there's lots of stuff. And the most crazy thing I'm doing, when I had 100 patrons,
Oh, that's right, the song. Can we do that right now?
I wrote a song including all 100 names, which turned out to be 120 names by the time I wrote the song, in the lyrics. So I've said for when I get to 200 patrons, I am not going to write one song. I am going to write 200 compositions, one for every single patron, and send it to them individually.
And so how close are you
we
to
are
meeting
at
that goal?
171 right now.
Oh, so you hear that, people? Get
29
out
away.
there. He's almost near the top of the list.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyway, going back to, so that's what Patreon is. But going back to it, I mean, it has been absolutely life-changing for me. It has meant, there's that fly again, it's meant that I can really concentrate on being creative, not just because I have the financial support that I don't need to go out and do other things, but also because I know I've got 171 people rooting for me and waiting for me to be creative and waiting for me to do my own stuff and waiting for me to put my stuff out there. So in all ways, it is a very real support and, yeah, as I say, a life-changing thing.
So Patreon is sort of like an old-fashioned and a new-fashioned idea put together because you have modern technology.
Absolutely.
Didn't it originally start kind of like with the idea of patrons?
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Everyone on there is called a patron, and you know, if you go to my Patreon page, you'll see I talk a little bit about kind of the links of how it used to be in the olden days. You know, Michelangelo or Beethoven would not have existed without patrons.
Sort of like a modern-day philanthropist kind of a
Exactly,
thing.
but on a larger scale with everyday people who just enjoy music, giving, you know, a small amount and subscribing a small amount, but the sum of all of these people subscribing makes a huge difference.
Do you think that's definitely part of the future revenue stream?
Oh, who knows? I'm usually the worst person to ask about the future.
That's what I'm saying.
Never get stock or any financial tips from me, because they will be wrong.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is I talk to so many artists, and they really don't seem to have any accurate way to track their revenue. Their job is to put the product out.
Right.
And I kind of think that's really not fair.
Well,
especially in this day and age with downloads and
yeah, sure. I mean, well, you know, people go on about and moan about digital downloads and stuff. I think at the end of the day, the business has changed.
Exactly.
And it's not a case of, oh, it used to be so much better when you got paid. Well, you know, you had a record label stealing 90% of your profits anyway. At least you get 100% of the profits of your music that you decide to sell in whatever way you want. I mean, if you want to employ a streaming service, sure. But the streaming service does their job and they get the music out there, and an artist will make their revenue in other ways, such as Patreon.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Patreon's a great idea because...
Or merch. You know, merch is a huge big revenue when you're on tour. So, yeah, the world has changed. It's no longer about selling records.
Yeah, some artists actually don't even get stuff for merch.
For merch?
Depending on the deal.
Fly.
All right, hang on. Maybe we'll